What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Harley Quinn, the new colored version. And so here we have the Revoltech Harley Quinn new color posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at her accessories really fast. Harley Quinn does come with quite a few accessories, so let's run through that really fast. She does come with 3 different facial expressions. We do get a neutral smiling expression, which looks really nice. She does come with a grinning expression where she has her teeth out. Then we do get a face where she's winking and blowing a piece of bubble gum. We also do get several sets of hands. We have a pair of fists. We have a pair of style pose hands. We have a pair of trigger grip hands. Then we have a right hand pointing finger. We also do have a thumbs up left hand. We also do get her baseball bat, which looks really nice. It's just done in red plastic. We get her mallet, which is my favorite accessory out of the bunch. She does come with an effect piece that says boosh. If you want to have that on either the hammer or the bat, you can. She does get a pair of normal feet. Then we do get a pair of roller skating feet. Finally, we do get the Revoltech's display stage. Other than that, we don't get anything else with Harley Quinn, but that's more than enough for Harley here, which I think they did a really good job with the accessories. So, with the accessories out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at her details. So here we have a closer look at the Revoltech Harley Quinn. Now, I'm normally not a fan of hyper-articulated figures, mainly because the joints and everything get cut up and you can see the joints more than normal. This Harley Quinn does a really good job of hiding the joints, just despite the fact she is mainly wearing just her top and her shorts with some socks. A lot of the joints are really well hidden, and I do like the way this figure came out. Now, this is the new color version of Harley Quinn. The original version was black and red, which I'm still trying to track down that figure. I just happened to get this figure before I got the standard version, which I honestly love this version of the figure. I actually enjoy this figure more than I thought I would. Something a lot of people don't like about Revoltech figures is that they don't really have good neutral poses, so if you just have them standing, they kind of look like a robot because all the cuts and joints in them. I know Deadpool and Spider-Man suffer from that a lot. Captain America and Batman also do. Harley Quinn here, they did a really good job of hiding a lot of her joints, and she does have a really good neutral look to her, and I really do like that Revoltech is doing much better with their figures, and I think Harley Quinn here is an exceptional piece now. I do have her with her neutral smiling head, which does look really nice, and she does have articulated eyes. We do get a little tool right here that you can actually adjust her eyes. I have her looking as straight as I could possibly get it. I think one eye might be a little bit lower than the other. There's no way to get around it. If you're OCD about it, you're going to have a really bad time with this figure because the eyes will always seem like they never line up properly, but you can always have her looking off to the sides, which is really nice. I do like that. I think this is a really cute anime style Harley Quinn, even though it does look like some cutie drawing that they did. It's not 100% anime, but you can see the anime inspiration behind it. In her hair, we do have her hair ties, which are respectively blue and red. Then we do have some pink metallic paint right here on the right side of her hair, and then some blue on the left side, although this side does look a little bit green, which comes with the territory. It's blue on yellow, so that's gonna happen. We do have her choker, which looks really nice. The makeup looks fantastic. You see the pink and the blue. Those blue eyes are just simply perfect on this figure. I cannot stress how nice the face on this figure looks. Taking a look at her torso here, they did a really good job of hiding the joints. Now, looking at the figure, you would assume that she has a joint underneath her top, which yes, she does, and it functions really nicely. I'll get over that when we have a look at her articulation. But the aesthetics on this figure look really good, and it's not cut up, and you can see a lot of the joints. In fact, a lot of her joints are well hidden, like her joints right here in her shoulders. Her wrists are really well hidden. The elbows are kind of exposed, but that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But yeah, I really do like her top. We do have the quadruple diamonds right here on her left pauldron. We have a star right here on her right pauldron. Then we do have the elbow pads, because, you know, she does look like she does roller derby, and that's something I do like, that she does get the roller skates. We do have a pouch right here on her studded belt, which is painted gunmetal color with some silver on it right there. One problem I have on mine is that the shorts are a softer plastic, and sometimes this joint right here does catch them, so you gotta be careful with that. You can always hide the gapping with her belt, so I do appreciate that small little detail. She does have fingerless gloves, which do look really nice, and they painted it fairly clean for the most part. It's not 100% clean, but for the most part it looks good, and I do appreciate the effort that went into it. Something I also like about this figure is the color difference in the materials used. We have some flat paint or flat plastic for her skin tones. We have some metallic for her outfit. We have some shiny for the leather. We have some matte for the stockings, some more metallic paint for her knee pads. Then we have some really glossy paint for her boots. So this figure has a lot of differences in the paint application, and it does do a lot to bring out how nice this figure actually looks. You can see the metallic paint is used really nice on her shorts, and they did a really good job with that. She does have the thigh-high socks, which you can see the flesh tone, and then her socks. We do have the diamonds right here. On this side we have the star. Really like the fact that they are sculpted on. They're just not there like painted, but they actually do have sculpt, so that's really good there. On her knee pad we do have the single diamond on the right knee pad, quadruple diamond here on the left knee pad, and again they do switch the color between blue and red, and then we're back to blue. Same thing right here. We do have some black socks coming out of her boots, so that looks really nice. Then we have her blue really high gloss boot on her right leg, high gloss red boot on her left leg, and then we have some steel plating right there. The soles on the shoes are again inverse, so we have the blue with the red sole, and then we have the red with the blue sole, and then that looks really good. So overall, the detailing on this figure is phenomenal, and I really love the way it looks, and I'm actually enjoying this figure much more than I thought I would, and I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get it compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Harley Quinn posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Harley Quinn posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Harley Quinn posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And so finally, here we have the Revoltech Harley Quinn posed next to an SH Figuarts Injustice Harley Quinn and a Mafex Hush Batman. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Harley Quinn's articulation, because she does have a lot of articulation. So starting at her hair is on ball hinges, so we do have some hinging articulation right here at her hair, and that works for both sides. You can see you can rotate it really nicely. You can hinge it up and down depending on how you want it posed. You can do it with Harley Quinn's hair, so I really do like that. She does have a double ball joint here at the head. Let me see if I can show that off. And you can see the way it's structured, where it's actually seated forward and then going deep into the head. That does allow for a lot of nice posing. Now, with a lot of nice posing does come with some gapping issues, so you can actually pop her neck up about that far. She can look all the way up, as you can see, but then you have this gap right here in her head. And one thing I have noticed is that once you do gap her neck, it is really hard to get it seated back. As you can see, she kind of has a long neck now, which is not the ideal look for Harley Quinn. And getting the head back down, you kind of have to remove the face, but you can see it does provide a lot of nice articulation here. So do be aware of that when you're posing this figure, is that if you adjust the neck too much, you're gonna have to adjust everything else when you try putting your back in a neutral stance. So just keep that in mind when you're posing her, that you will have that gapping notice, and it does offer some really nice head tilt. Her neck does turn left and right, no problem. And yes, it is at the neck. It's not done at the head because of how the head is situated. We don't get rotation at the head. We get it at the neck, and it does rotate really nicely. And it is on a ball hinge as well, so it does hinge back about that far. Does hinge forward about that far, so she can bury her head into her chest. Her arms are on pins going into the body, so they do go out to about there before they do get hindered by her shoulder pads. And because they're on pinned hinges, they do move up and down normally, and then we do get forward and back rotation. Now, they are on a ball socket going into the shoulder, or into the arm, so you can see we can move her arm forward and back. We can pivot it a little bit. So yeah, that is a really interesting piece of articulation, that it's a pin going into the torso, but a ball going into the arm. So you can see that does move all the way around. We do have rotation right there. We do have a single hinge at the elbow, but it gives us a lot of good range. You can see right there. Then it does rotate at the elbow. We do have forearm rotation as well. We have our traditional ball hinge wrists, so they do move up and down. We can adjust that to have in and out hinges, so that's really good there. Now for her torso, which I think she has a lot of articulation here in the torso. She can pivot to the side really nicely. She arches back at just the diaphragm joint really far, going that far forward, so that's pretty good, and I really do like the fact that she doesn't gap up. That's a really good job there. And then we do have some rotation right there, going to the side, pushing it to the limit. It goes quite a bit. You can see that's just on this one ball joint, and I believe it's a double ball joint. In order for it to have that amount of range, it has to be a double ball joint. So really good range there. Now, in conjunction with a ball joint right here at her waist, you can see you can arch her back very far, but then we do have some gapping issue, which you can fix with the belt, but just be aware of the gapping issue. And like I said, you might catch the shorts like that, so just be aware of how you're posing her. Leaning forward, you can see she goes all the way, and again, the belt does hide any gap, so we have a lot of range going that way. Out to the side, you can see we would have some gapping, but the shorts and the belt do a good job of hiding any gaps, so really good job there. She does have ball joints in the hips, and they only go out to about that far, which is, at first looks, it doesn't look like it's a lot. That's kind of pitiful, to be honest, but they do kind of pivot like this, so we do get some really interesting articulation here. Now, moving them forward and out, you do get that outward rotation, and she does have a thigh swivel, so you can have her doing the splits. And I like this setup because you can actually keep it like the shorts actually are one solid piece, which is something a lot of companies haven't been able to figure out. Yes, it's a lot of work to get it, but it functions really well, especially if you wanted to. And like I said, she can kick about that high, honestly, and she's already coming undone. So yeah, Harley Quinn can kick very high. Going to the back, no problem whatsoever. And again, outward movement does seem like it's limited, but rotating outward, you can see it does function really nicely. We actually do have an interesting joint here. It's not just a swivel hinge, it's a double ball joint. So what that provides is some range and movement here, and you can actually use this for adjusting. You really wouldn't think that a ball joint would work good in the thigh right here, but it actually functions really nicely, especially when you have her in wider poses. You can actually move it really nicely, so I do like that. So we do have that ball joint action right there, so that's really interesting to me. She does have a knee joint which does move like this. Now, something you did see is that the knee does shift as well, so not only do we have a hinge that allows for past 90-degree movement, it's also on a ball socket down here, so we can actually pivot the ankle, or not the ankle, but the shin really nicely. And unfortunately, that does create a gap right here, but again, you can shift it to hide it, so it's really not a big deal. I do like that, and of course, we do get rotation there. We do have a hinge, and the foot goes back. Doesn't go as far forward as I would like. If anything, it really doesn't go forward at all, but you can rotate that and get a deeper rocker ankle. So do be aware that we can get some really nice rocker ankle out of this figure. She does have a toe hinge, which works fine. So overall, really good articulation here on Harley Quinn, and I think it functions beautifully. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get her into my final thoughts so we can wrap up this review and I can show off some poses you can do with this figure. And so here we have the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Harley Quinn new color version posed for my final thoughts. And overall, I really do like the way this figure came out. I'm not going to lie to you, I wasn't a fan of this costume, especially when they first announced that they were making a Harley Quinn, and this was a costume that they chose for her. However, seeing it in hand and actually messing around with this particular version of Harley Quinn, I understand why they went with this costume. The fact that they could get away with hiding a lot of the joints in her costume did make a lot of sense, and if she was wearing her classic costume, you'd see a lot of those joints exposed, which is one reason I think they went with this particular outfit. Although it's not a classic Harley Quinn, I still think it's a very good rendition of Harley Quinn, and I think Amazing Yamaguchi has done a really good job with this figure. I think the articulation on this figure is superb. You can get this figure in just about any pose you can think of, especially a cross-legged pose, which I do have at the end of my video, so do check out the photos. So overall, this is a very good figure, both in terms of detail, sculpt, articulation, and paint apps. This is probably one of the best 1/12 Harley Quinn figures you can get out on the market, and I do recommend her if you're a fan of Harley Quinn or just want a really nice Harley Quinn in your collection. This is one figure you really don't want to pass on. Now, one thing that might turn this figure off to a lot of people is the price point. At retail, I have seen her go anywhere from $80 to $90, which is a pretty steep price. Now, I did import my Harley Quinn from Japan, so I did pay about $65 for her. However, getting her shipped here was kind of expensive, so rounding it out, I did pay about $85 to have Harley Quinn here in the hand, which is what you're going to be paying if you get her shipped through other retailers such as Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth. If you really want this Harley Quinn, she is available for pre-order. If you ordered her from an online overseas website, you probably already have her in hand. But again, don't sleep on this figure if you are looking for a really good Harley Quinn figure. She'll look good in any display where you have animated figures, because she's really not a realistic looking Harley Quinn. She'll fit in more with your comic book displays. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other DC comic videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.